Today's sermon is based largely on trying to encourage the men of our church to make a list of their priorities in their lives. And in making that list of priorities, I'm hoping that they will start and be their number one priority to be as much like Jesus Christ as they can be. That priority should be higher than family, friends, jobs, and everything. Because to be as much like Jesus Christ means to follow Jesus Christ to the fullest. But then the question becomes, what does it mean to be as much like Jesus Christ as you can be? And I think there are three basic messages I get from Jesus Christ today. The first message is love. For the last 47 years almost, this Protestant Republican has been married to a Catholic Democrat. And people have come up to me in the congregation and have said, Rick, I can understand how you can be married to a Catholic, but how can you possibly be married to a Democrat? And I think it means the important thing is that you keep Jesus at the center of your relationship. And that is what has been happening for 47 years. When we were living in Southern California, we had signs on our front lawn for two opposing presidential candidates, and it drove our neighbors crazy. And when we moved to Pennsylvania 30 years ago, we decided that we would only put a sign on our front lawn if we agreed on the same candidate. There hasn't been a lot of signs on our front lawn, but that's the way we are. But love is so very important. And we have, there people have come up to me and they said, Rick, you and Irene are not from the West Coast. You're from the left coast. And so, but to love everyone is what we are called to do. They can be a Democrat or they can be a Republican. They can be a Christian. They can be a Jewish. They can be Muslim. They can be any type of individual. But we are called, if we are to follow Jesus, to love them. And one of the things that came up in the Old Testament reading from the Ten Commandments that Matt read earlier today was the fact of do not kill. Jesus wants us to not kill. It doesn't matter if the killing is in war. It doesn't matter if the killing is in a person that comes into your house with a gun and threatens your family. You are not called to kill anyone. You're called to love them. And the other is, of course, in another part of what was read in the Ten Commandments was the treating of near neighbors. We are supposed to love our neighbors as ourselves. And I think that that's what we are called to do as followers of Jesus Christ. Also, another part of being like Jesus is to forgive. And as I look in the Bible, I think of two showings of how Jesus forgave. One was when a woman had committed adultery and was about ready to be stoned to death. And Jesus intervened and he said to the stoners, he said, if any of you have not committed a sin, you can throw the first stone. All of them dropped the stones and walked away. And he turned to the lady and he said, ma'am, what you did was a sin, but you are forgiven. So go and sin no more. And the second thing was when Jesus was on the cross and it was shortly before he was to die. He turned to the people and he said, "God, forgive them, for they do not know what they do." Forgiveness is a part of being a follower of Jesus Christ. And so then the third aspect of it is for us to be as much like Jesus as we can be. I remember once I was in Long Beach, California, was leaving Mass after one of Irene's Masses, and I was talking to one of the ladies that was a part of her contemporary choir. And we were talking about various things. And I said, "Oh, where do you work?" And she told me, and I said, "Oh, well, a friend of mine works there." She says, "He does?" He says, "Yeah." I says, "Who is it?" And I told her his name. And she said, "Well, how do you know him?" And I said, "Well, we go to church together." And she turned to me and she says, "He goes to church?" Obviously, in what he was doing in his job and working with her, did not reflect the Jesus Christ that he should be reflecting. So once again, I ask you not to love everyone, to forgive everyone, and to be not afraid to show that you're Jesus Christ. That doesn't mean that you have to be on a street corner with a sign or preaching out loud to people or whatever. Just be like Jesus Christ. And if you can be like Jesus Christ, you will be carrying out the message that Jesus wants us to carry out. Again, love, forgiveness, and being willing to act like Jesus Christ. Amen.